Boy sailing down a river uncovers a treasure that changes his life forever. Imagine for a moment that you are strolling along the street when you see something strange. When you examine it more closely, you see that it's an extremely precious item, akin to a rare baseball card. Your day has gone from being ordinary to amazing in the space of a few seconds, and you can't help but smile broadly. Seems too good to be true, doesn't it? A youngster in Austria saw something strange floating in the water while he was sailing down a river. He dove in naturally to have a closer look and quickly discovered he had found something considerably more valuable than your average river detritus. The Danube River, which flows through 10 different nations, including Austria's capital city of Vienna, is the second longest river in Europe. Sometimes the river has much more than fish and water, as one little Austrian child found out. The little child and his father set off early one morning to cruise down the Danube. They had traveled this picturesque route several times before, and the weather was ideal for a fun day out on the lake. The two sailed the placid waters, greeting other vessels with waves. However, the child ordered his father to slow the boat soon after they set off. In the neighboring water, he noticed something strange floating. Though they were still unaware of the nature of the odd things, they could see they were small pieces of paper when they pushed the boat closer. Where might they have come from given no one was in the local area? The youngster dove into the river with his father watching above him to get all the paper. There were hundreds of rectangular pieces, it seemed. The child cried out to his father as soon as he managed to get a glimpse of it. There was a lot of money floating in the river all around the little guy. The youngster and his father made a crucial phone call after he had completed collecting all the money. The boy's father got in touch with the neighborhood police. The cops arrived quickly and expressed amazement at the boy's finding as well. Finding so much money floating in the river was impressive. According to Austrian legislation, the finder receives 5 to 10% of the entire amount when money is located and given in to the authorities, provided the money isn't connected to any illicit activities. This small youngster discovered almost $115,000 bucks. The money was brought inside the station and allowed to dry fully before the youngster and his father received their portion of $11,500. The police were unable to connect it to any illegal activity. That morning, the youngster and his father truly had it fortunate. However, they are by no means the only ones who have ever discovered something worthwhile. Robbie Robinson, a native of Florida, had a really interesting day in February 2018. One afternoon, Robbie, who operated his own pest treatment company, noticed a big bag abandoned by the side of the road as he was on his way to a client's house. He stopped his truck and took a quick look inside. Robbie looked down at stacks of crisp, hard currency, and his mouth fell open. A bank receipt containing the address of the bank where the money was just taken was also found in the bag. Robbie went straight to the address shown on the receipt. When Robbie revealed what had transpired to one of the bank tellers, they were astounded by his honesty. The majority of individuals would have kept the money and stayed quiet. Before leaving, Robbie took a photo of the bag and uploaded it to Facebook in the hopes that its true owner will one day come forward to get it. Soon after, Robbie Lewis, a male, noticed the message and replied right away. He claimed ownership of the money sack and admitted to being anxious ever since he misplaced it. The rightful owner eventually received his money and both men were able to relax. Well, those two tales seem almost too fantastic to be true. Then this third case will seem even more unbelievable to you. Early January 2014, Joe Cornell of Fresno, California was going about his day when he was startled by something. He noticed a Brinks armored vehicle parked in front of the bank as he was making his way to a nearby deli for lunch. Sacks of cash were put onto the back of it by police officers. He never gave it any consideration until the truck left, and he noticed one last bag that had never been put in the back sitting on the curb. The only other person who spotted it was Joe, so he approached and took it open. As expected, it contained $125,000. Joe did consider taking even a little portion of the money at this point, but Joe was making an effort to change his life. He was attempting to overcome a heroin addiction while residing at the Salvation Army Adult Rehabilitation Center, and now that his integrity was being scrutinized, he was determined to pass the test. Joe grabbed the bag and carried it straight into the bank. The bank staff was taken aback that such a mistake had been made when the vehicle was being loaded. Because of Joe's honesty, the Brinks firm was so appreciative that they gave him a $5,000 debit card. Like Robbie Robinson and the parent and son from Austria, Joe Cornell received quick financial karma for making the right decisions about their discovery. But consider discovering something similar to what these guys accomplished without ever having to leave the comforts of your own house. Historic homes may be intriguing locations. Purchasing historical real estate tends to be a wise investment if you're prepared to put in the work, even if they can be difficult to maintain as an owner. Renovating an old house can lead to a number of unexpected discoveries, most of which are not good. When a homeowner in Cleveland made the decision to renovate his basement, he was aware that there would be several unforeseen factors to consider. That didn't deter him from working to see his idea through to completion, though. Living in a family-owned, extremely ancient house that dates back several generations was the 35-year-old. He had already completed a significant amount of work when he discovered something really strange. He discovered one component of the ceiling did not appear like the others as he was disassembling it. His curiosity soon overcame him, and he chose to take the panel in question out. A green suitcase, which was completely unexpected, was hidden inside. Then he picked up his camera and began recording this remarkable finding. He chose to tell his wife what he had discovered instead of taking another photo. She found it fascinating. Together, they descended down the basement once more to ascertain the contents of the enigmatic suitcase. The pair was nonetheless interested about what may be inside the luggage, even if it wasn't very heavy. Here, they demonstrated its distinct size using a baby-sized toy banana toothbrush. The case was fastened with an aged rope and included nearly all metal. It was time for the man to open it up after taking a few more pictures. To his astonishment, he discovered some well-wrapped parcels. He carefully and methodically combed over the information, even making an inventory of everything uncovered, while attempting to control his enthusiasm. There were old newspapers lining the bottom of the box. March 1951 was the farthest back for one of them. Regarding the remaining parcels, the man made an effort to control his expectations. He didn't want to lose himself in the thrill of the actual discovery due to wild speculations about what may be there. When he finally cracked open the first package, his dreams came true at first glance. He presented his waiting wife a stack of $20 notes that he thought to be worth $1,000. However, there were other surprises in store as well. The following box included $5,050 notes. They had anticipated finding something potentially valuable, but not this much cash. They were soon plagued with questions about what to do next. There was a cash box in their own house, waiting to be opened in the basement. How long had it been there? No one knew. Maybe the greatest prize of them all was inside the last bundle. Beneath it all was a bundle of $100 bills, a gold certificate, and star notes, misprinted money that was never in circulation. It was the motherlode of treasure hunters and the dream of historians. The guy and his spouse immediately contacted a lawyer to have the box valued and to find out how the law would affect their discovery since they realized they were in over their heads. The man wanted to be responsible, even though he could have grabbed the money and claimed it as his own. He was aware that the money might not actually be his, and he didn't want to go into trouble. This man returned to his basement renovations in the interim and found another box that contained around $10,000. The lawyer had some news that would make all of these findings even more amazing, and the couple couldn't believe it. It was determined that the man and his wife actually owned the entire $45,000. The couple considered the money to be an incredible boon, using it to settle their mortgage and plan to purchase a new home in a more remote region. This man thought rebuilding his basement would cost him a small fortune, but in the end, it brought him wealth instead.